You ever have one of those moments where you realize, oh great, I just became the main character in someone else's petty little war? Because let me tell you, I sure didn't move out to the Colorado mountains for drama. I came for silence, for space. 40 acres wild forest, a beat-up cabin, a lookout tower, and the kind of freedom you can't get when the neighbors can see what's on your dinner plate through their kitchen window. But peace is a fragile thing, right? And some people, well, they can't sleep at night if they're not bossing someone around. I found that out the hard way when a certain HOA president tried to plant her flag on my property. She sent her troops. She sent her drones. She sent me letters dripping with more self-importance than a royal decree. And she woke up a part of me I'd honestly hoped I'd left behind, a man who does not under any circumstances know how to lose. Let me back up. I bought this land because I wanted to control my life. That's it. The city had wrung me dry, too loud, too crowded, too many rules about the color of your mailbox. Here, the only rules were the ones I made. Took months to bring the place back from the edge, solar panels, rain barrels, cameras, and sensors everywhere. Not because I was paranoid, no, that's not the word. It's preparation. If you've ever done time in military intelligence, you know the difference. You don't leave survival to luck. The last camera clicked into place and I finally felt like the mountain was mine just for a second. 2 days later, a black SUV crawls up my drive like it's sniffing out a new hunting ground. The guy who steps out, Elliot clipboard, shiny shoes, suit so stiff you could use it as a cutting board, doesn't even knock. Just waltzes up to my porch and announces he's with the Aspen Hollow Summit Homeowners Association. Inspector for Community Aesthetics, he says, like he's about to cite me for a lawn gnome. Now, I'm not a man who scares easy. I just lean back, mug in hand, and say, Community Aesthetics. Last I checked, this mountain wasn't part of your little suburban photo shoot. He looks at my cameras like I've just insulted his mother. Your installations violate Aspen Hollow's visual landscape code, he says. Take them down within 72 hours. I nearly snort coffee. I tell him, look, this is private land, not some extension of your HOA paradise. Unless he's got a court order, he can show himself out. He tries to hold his ground, mumbles about non-compliance, and leaves already dialing someone, probably hoping for backup. Here's the thing about people like that, they don't get tired. And neither do I. You don't retreat to the mountains because you want to follow other people's rules. Next day, I'm checking my perimeter when a county patrol car pulls up. The deputy's friendly enough, says they got a complaint about surveillance equipment, privacy laws, all that. I sit him down, lay out my documents, show him every camera is well within my boundaries and not pointed anywhere near their fancy homes. He checks, nods, and says it's all legal. But he warns this probably isn't the last call I'll get from them. He's right. Because just as I'm walking him out, another SUV shows up, this one white and expensive with a woman inside who looks like she just left a high-powered boardroom. Platinum bob heels stabbing into my gravel like she's on a mission to aerate the whole driveway. Introduces herself as Karen, of course, president of Aspen Hollow Summit. Your military compound is disrupting the harmony of our mountains, she tells me, lips pursed so tight you'd think I'd just insulted the whole state. I remind her that her community ends at my property line. She says, we'll see about that. I have resources. Drives off like she expects the mountain to bow down. Maybe I should have been worried, but honestly, I was more annoyed than anything. She wasn't fighting for a view, she was fighting for control. I knew the type. The next morning, there's a letter tucked under my wiper. Not county, just HOA stationery, accusing me of everything short of crimes against nature, unsightly technical structures, threats of fines and lawsuits, 10 days to comply. I chuckle, toss it in the burn barrel, and go split some firewood. That afternoon, a drone. Black, silent, hovering right over my trees. I don't mess around. I grab a flare gun, fire off a warning shot way clear of it just to make my point. It zips off so fast I almost laugh. Later, I check my cameras. Sure enough, flight path leads straight back to Aspen Hollow. You ever get that itch? Like someone's poking you just to see how far they can push? So I call Rebecca, my attorney, from when I bought the land, sharp as a tack. She tells me I'm clean, nothing I've done is illegal. But if they keep poking, she'll start firing off her own letters, the legal kind. That night, another HOA minion young guy, looks like he's trying out for a real estate brochure, shows up with another letter. I don't even bother opening it. Just take his picture, say, have a nice day, and close the door. I see him standing there after confused. Guess he's not used to being ignored. Now the next level of stupid begins. Notices claiming my roof color is offensive, that my tower is a public hazard. I'm almost tempted to hang a neon sign, "Not your business." But honestly, I start enjoying it. Reminds me of those endless psychological games back in service. Pressure, intimidation, empty threats, noise. If you ignore it, it just gets louder. But I don't just sit back. I send high-res shots of their drone to both the HOA and the sheriff. Unregistered aerial surveillance over private land is illegal. This is your warning. The sheriff actually calls back, says if it happens again, I can press charges. Couple days later, Karen herself tries to casually walk near my drive, pretending to admire wildflowers. She tells me people feel unsafe because of my cameras. I laugh. Maybe they should stop sneaking around up here. Her face sours, but she leaves. Here's where things start getting real. One night, my alert pings camera goes offline. Not a glitch. Someone killed it. I grab my flashlight, sidearm, thermal monocular, old habits die hard, and head out. Find quad bike tracks where there shouldn't be any. Playback shows two figures messing with my gear. Not close enough to see faces, but I catch a scrap of fabric snagged on barbed wire. This isn't some kid's prank. Sheriff's office doesn't care much without clear faces. But I do. I upgrade. New hidden thermal cams, motion-triggered lights, more trail cams, everything feeding straight to the cloud. If they come back, I'll have them cold. Funny thing, setting up these new defenses, I start to wonder what makes someone like Karen tick. This wasn't about beauty or harmony, this was about power. She didn't want to live near me, she wanted to run me off. So I test a theory. Leave the property lights on, watch my laptop. Midnight, 2 heat signatures slip through the trees, heading straight for the tower. I record every step. One wears a jacket with a weird patch, sports club maybe. Not much, but it's a start. 3 nights later, thermal cam catches them again, closer this time. Tools, crowbar, and that damn platinum bob. Karen herself on my land in the dead of night, breaking the law to try and control me. I radio the sheriff. I have 2 trespassers on my property damaging my equipment, sending coordinates now. Then I flip on the loudspeaker, step away from the equipment. You are being recorded. Law enforcement is en route. You should have seen them jump. Karen nearly fell over. Patrol car pulls up within 15 minutes. Deputy Jensen, flashlight in hand. Karen tries to talk her way out, but he's not buying it. You're on private property after dark with tools, trespassing, and attempted property damage. Her sidekick tries to slip away but gets cuffed by a second deputy. I bring out my laptop, show them the footage. Jensen whistles. This is pretty damn clear. He tells Karen she's under arrest. Her face looks like she swallowed a cactus. She squeals about being HOA president. I just smile. Your rules don't mean a thing on this land. You ever feel the tension snap like a brittle stick? That was me watching them drive off, but I knew it wasn't over. Not for people like her. They just find new ways to make noise. Next day, my lawyer Rebecca calls. She's ready to go on the offensive: trespassing, vandalism, harassment. And as a bonus, we loop in the FCC because my tower counts as federal infrastructure. Now the game's at a level Karen can't control. But here's where the twist comes in. Turns out through some old contacts, I get my hands on public filings. Karen's history is a mess. She's been squeezing new homeowners for cash, threatening lawsuits over holiday decorations. Not about cameras, it's all about control and money. I build my own dossier, every letter, every drone flight, screenshots of her nasty articles about me, all of it. Rebecca wants to hit them with both barrels, criminal and civil. While I'm prepping, a process server shows up serving me with a countersuit, creating a hostile environment, threatening visual harmony. I almost dropped the papers, I'm laughing so hard. But this is just legal posturing. The next morning, I walk into the sheriff's office with a hard drive full of evidence. The sheriff, big guy with a mustache like a steel brush, watches the footage and sighs. The HOA isn't going to like me much after this. He attaches my evidence to the case. Now Karen's in real trouble. But I'm not done. I talk to a local news station, tell them everything minus the parts about my old job. A week later, my story's on TV: Mountain Man versus HOA cameras, control and chaos. The public eats it up. Online, the comments are savage. People love seeing a bully get theirs. That night, I get messages from strangers: thanks for standing up to HOA bullies. Even some Aspen Hollow residents reach out, sick of Karen's reign. She's been out of control for years, they say. Finally, someone's putting her in her place. Then Rebecca calls. The lawsuit is filed: damages, emotional distress, legal fees. We have the upper hand. But just as I'm feeling good, the HOA's lawyer files a countersuit. Desperation move. Rebecca laughs. Don't worry. Their complaint is weaker than day-old tea. Now the DA steps in, investigating Aspen Hollow for harassment, extortion, fraud. They want me as a witness. I spend hours at the courthouse handing over every scrap. Other homeowners come forward to stories of Karen's bullying, fake fines, threats. The DA realizes it's not just about me, it's a whole rotten system. Funny how fighting for your own peace can end up helping a lot of people you never planned to. Finally, our day in court. I show up in my best jeans and flannel, Rebecca's idea. Karen sits across the aisle. Perfect hair, expensive suit. Death glare strong enough to strip paint. The judge calls us in, and Rebecca goes to work, videos, letters, drone footage, audio of the board member bragging about running me off. Karen's lawyer tries to paint me as a threat, a militarized recluse. But Rebecca dismantles every claim. She even gets one witness to admit under oath that she's never even seen my cameras, she just heard about them. The best moment, Rebecca plays the audio log, board member bragging about running me out. The courtroom goes dead quiet. Even the judge looks ready to bite a nail in half. Verdict: HOA guilty. Harassment, defamation, trespassing. Karen personally liable. $410,000 in damages. The check arrives weeks later. I don't need it, but I use it to reinforce my land, top of the line, everything, a fortress of solitude. Aspen Hollow crumbling, bank accounts frozen, DA still digging. Karen disappears from the board facing new charges. Some say the HOA might dissolve. Residents thank me for breaking the spell, for standing up when no one else would. There's a new sign on my gate. This land has no HOA and never will. Below it, you're on camera. Also on the wrong property. The message is clear. Life settles down. Mornings with the birds, afternoons in the woods, evenings in the lookout tower. The quiet is deeper now, earned. Sometimes strangers write asking how I won. I tell them, don't roll over. Document everything. Don't let anyone convince you they own what you paid for. Last I heard, Karen's still trying to sell her house. Nobody wants it. Karma's not always quick, but it never forgets. So let me ask you, when power runs wild, when someone tries to write their own rules over your life, where do you draw the line? Have you ever stood up when it would have been easier to back down? Tell me where you stand. Or maybe tell me about the Karen in your life. I've got time and plenty of mountain silence to listen.